So drop me a little message. Let me know where you're coming in from. My name is Elise, and I am your host for today. And I am head of publicity here at Marissa Peer. And I'm also an RTT therapist, which I will be telling you about a little bit later on. So where have we got people coming from? Let me have a look at the chat. Ontario, oh, lots of people from Canada, actually. Ontario, Canada, Budapest, Sweden, Dublin, Ireland, Chile, Indiana, a truly global audience. So welcome, everybody. I'm so happy that you're all here today. And I just want to say today is not just a regular webinar, not just another webinar, because this is your chance to experience a mini transformation with Marissa in real time, because we're going to be showing you today the tools and techniques that she uses with her own clients, but also that she teaches us as therapists as well. So what I'd like to know, though, right now, because the theme of today's webinar is all about confidence. So what I'd love to know is, how are you feeling about your confidence levels right now? So just drop it into the comments and I will start reading some of those out. Still a lot of you coming into the waiting room at the moment, but very low, low, pretty low, not good, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, fairly good, quite low, low, medium. So a lot of you today needing that confidence boost. So you are exactly in the right place. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you can expect from the next hour or so that you get an idea of why you're here today. So Marissa is going to guide you through an amazing live RTT transformational process. And this is designed to really help you identify and release these subconscious beliefs that might be holding you back from your true confident self. So all these people, I see so many of you just saying, it's inconsistent, my confidence, it's fluctuating, I'm married to a narcissist, I'm struggling. So you're in the right place, because Marissa's going to do this wonderful experience with you today. And we're also going to be talking a little bit more about my experience with RTT and life as an RTT therapist, best job in the world. And we'll be talking you through as well about how you could learn the skills to be an RTT therapist as well and change people's lives. So Marissa's going to come in as well and do a bit of a Q&A. So if you do have questions as we're going along, I think there's a little question and answer box that you can put them in. So either pop them in that box or pop them in the chat with a Q before and your question after, so we can get around to that at the end of the webinar. So remember, you're not just listening today, you're going to experience RTT live in real time. And I know that some of you here today will be here because you're purely here. You want to have a lovely confidence boosting experience with Marissa, and that's absolutely fine. But I know some others of you are thinking, maybe I'd like to do what Marissa does. So I'd love you to tell me in the chat again. I'm getting you going in the chat today, aren't I? I'd love you to pop into the chat whether you're here for the experience. So for me, just pop for me in the chat if you're here purely for the experience. For train me, if you're thinking of training in RTT, or both. And I know a lot of you are already saying both, because you've been here before, I can see it. But whether you're here for the experience, whether you're here for both, for me, both, you're all in exactly the right place. So settle back, relax, unwind. And in a moment, I'm going to hand you over to a lady who needs no introductions whatsoever, the wonderful Marissa Peer. And she's going to guide you through this amazing experience today, all about rewriting the beliefs around confidence and helping you to boost your confidence. So over to you, Marissa.
So let me tell you a story first. I work a lot in the school system, working on children's emotional resilience, working on their self-esteem. The job of any school is to raise a child's self-esteem. And the job of your parents was also to raise your self-esteem. They probably thought it was to give you organic broccoli and teach you to speak Chinese or Mandarin, but it's not. You succeed as a school and as a parent if your children have high self-esteem. So here's something I was fascinated by. When I go into schools with 6-year-olds, I go, hey, raise your hand if you like yourself. Raise your hand if you think you've got something to offer the world. Raise your hand if you think you've got some talents. Every kid raises their hand. When I go back to 10-year-olds and say, raise your hand if you think you're an interesting person, a good friend, got something to offer the world, half of them raise their hand. Now I've been doing this with up to 19,000 adults. When I ask the question, who here feels they have value to offer the world, believes in themselves, not even 10% raise their hands. We've gone from all the 5-year-olds, half the 10-year-olds, 10% of the adults. I'm going to ask you a question. Why is that, do you think? We're born with confidence. No baby says, I shouldn't cry, my mum's exhausted. I've been sleeping in my little grandson's bedroom for the last 10 days, and he wakes up at 9 At 6 in the morning, he goes, Nonna, play. And he has no concept that I might be a bit tired, because his belief is, you're here to play with me. That's your job. You exist to entertain me. And I'm very good at doing that job for him. So we're born with a belief, I matter. People are going to feed me, hug me, attend to my needs. What happens? I want you to put in the chat bar what has happened to you. What has happened to you? Where did it go? You were born feeling you were worth it, you were lovable, somebody was going to come and feed you, hug you, play with you. Where did that go? And I'm going to quickly go to the chat bar because I want this to be very interactive. I want to look at what you have to say. You see, to succeed in a relationship, you must believe you have a value. So we go on a date going, oh my God, I hope they like me. It should be, I hope I like them. I hope I'm good enough for them. It should be, I hope they're good enough for me. I hope they're an energetic match for me. People say, life is so unfair. My dad worked as a laborer or ran his own shop. He worked 6.5 days a week, 10 hours a day. And here's this merchant, someone else with all this money. But your ability to create wealth and having a loving relationship comes down to the same two things. Do you think you bring value? If you bring value, people will value you to the degree that you value you. So wealth is very poorly distributed, but people have a lot of money say, well, I create value. I've created this product. I mean, I bought a Dyson hairdryer for $700. I could have bought one for $30, but it was so good. I could do my hair in 5 minutes. That 5 minutes made me pay a lot of money for something that gave me value. So I want to have a look at some of the things that you've said, where your confidence went to. Let me have a look. Sorry, I've got to go. Well, I've got so many people responding. I had to compete within the family. And you see, here's something interesting. You might have heard this expression, comparison is the thief of joy. So when a parent starts saying, your sister could read when she was 4. Your brother never spilt food on the floor. Have you noticed your cousin, and schools do it, they compare you. And when you compare yourself to someone else, only 2 things can happen. I'm not as good as them, or well, I'm better than them. And most of us go to the I'm not as good as. So let me have a look at some others. My dad was a control freak. I was conditioned to not ask for anything. And you see, when you ask for nothing, you feel that's what you're worth, nothing. Other children were mean to me. I was always the last choice. Negative partners. I was micromanaged. I was used and abused as a critical parents. That's always a terrible thing. I was physically hit. I think others commenting about you when they make you feel you're not good enough. It went down the drain when relationships with unnecessary people commenced. Input from peers, disappointing. So let's go back to this blank slate. You see, almost none of us, and I do mean almost none of us, had an amazing childhood where we felt loved and our needs were met, almost none. So let's say 2% of us had this thing where our parents said, I love you, I'm glad you're here, you've got your own gifts, parenting you is the joy of my life. Maybe 2% of us had that. And there are 3 groups of people who say, I'm going to put you in the good group. There's a group of people who say, no one can have it all, it's not possible, life is difficult. If you're good in business, your relationship suffers. And if you have a good relationship, you can't apply yourself to business. And if you do both, you'll be a terrible parent. So group 1 have nothing. They don't believe they're worth it. Group 2 work very hard on this hamster wheel to have it all, but they struggle and they have a belief something's got to give. I can't have both. So they have more than group 1, but they pay a high price. Their health, their stress. Group 3 have everything. I went to Richard Branson's island. Here's a man who has everything: love, wealth, success. He shares it with everyone. That's part of having it all, sharing it. I know, sadly, his wife died, but until she did, they had a very happy, long marriage. And Joan was older than Richard, and he always idolized her. So group 3 have not had beautiful relationships, but they've learned how to overcome it. They've learned how to use adversity to get better. In my childhood, my brother and sister went to private schools. I didn't. I went to the local state school. I was the girl least likely to succeed. But it gave me one thing. It's called an I'll show you attitude. So I'm going to take you through the 7 habits of success. If you want to go into group 3, people who have it all, they have wealth, love, success, joy, they share it, and they don't have guilt because we always envy wealthy people. I work with wealthy people who have so much shame for having so much money, so much isolation because they can't connect, and so much guilt that I have more than you. But you can have all of it all the time, and you have to do three things. I'm going to tell you what the three things are. Then I'm going to put you in a little form of alpha brainwave and wire and code in that you too can have these habits of success. So let me tell you what they are. You need to radiate confidence. You need to have a high level of self-confidence, high levels of self-esteem. By the way, self-esteem is what I think of me. I can hold you in the highest esteem, and you might esteem me, I might esteem you, but self-esteem is what I think of me, and you can't give me that. And I can't give it to you because it comes from what I think of me. So you're going to have to elevate your sense of self-worth, self-value, self-image, and self-esteem. When you do it, the world will join you up here. When you lower it, they'll join you down there. So I want you to imagine there's a success club, and you can join it today. There's a club of people who are successful, what I call the 1%ers, who have it all the time, and enjoy it. Don't worry, don't feel guilty, don't live in isolation. You can join that club, but there are membership dues. And the dues are not money. They're these 7 habits. If you apply them, you can have it all. So let me tell you what they are, why you must apply them. Then let's do some hypnosis and imagine you applying them, owning them. Because here's the thing, people are not born sprinkled with fairy dust called, hey, I was born with a success gene. I was born self-motivating. Most of us have to learn these habits and apply them and adopt them, and then they become our very own. So the first thing you must do and be willing to do to be successful is this: you must be willing to do what you do not want to do. I worked with many, many Olympic athletes. So, I get up at 5 a.m. in England, especially, I'm chipping the ice off my car. I'm running in the dark. I'm running in the snow. I'm running in mud. I'm running in rain. But I want that Olympic medal. And this is the price I must pay. Now, athlete says, well, I think I'll lie in bed, eat some donuts, watch some Netflix, and maybe work out next week. So getting what you want requires doing what you don't want. I have a friend who has a 6-pack. I could literally bounce a ball off it. Would I like that? You bet I would. Am I willing to do what it takes? No. He never eats carbs. He does 900 crunches a day and the plank. And he does what he doesn't want to do. You see, for me to never eat carbs and do 900 crunches a day, it's not really worth it, but it is for him. So I want you to tell me what it is that you require and what must you do that you don't like. And I can tell you, I'm right now in a line edit. I'm literally, this is my brand new book, and a line edit means sitting like this and literally going through line by line, 250 pages, making sure it's perfect. Obviously, I've done it because it's now ready for publication on April the 9th. But a line edit, and you have to spend the whole day because you can't go, well, I'll do one chapter and come back. You have to just spend the whole day doing a line edit over and over again. I don't like that, but it's what the price I pay. I must be willing to do what I do not want to do. Imagine you want to be a famous chef. Well, a famous chef has to start in someone else's kitchen, chopping vegetables, washing dishes. They don't start as a famous chef. And even when they've made it, they've still got to manage other chefs. They've got to order stuff. They've got to deal with very tricky customers. But you can't just have the good. Even supermodels, I'm on a plane, I'm always traveling, famous actors, I'm up at 5 a.m. on set. I'm filming, it's cold in the heat. I'm filming as if it's hot in the cold. I've worked on many film sets. It's great fun, but they can sometimes do 10-hour days. So what would you like to do? And what must you do that you dislike to join this success club? Because there'll be many things you do not like. Second thing you must do is you must do it first. If you wake up and think, oh, I've got to ask my business partner for a loan, I've got to chase up some money, I've got to tell someone I'm employing it's not working out, I do it later. And later never comes. You must do it first. When you do the thing you dislike first, you feel like a winner, which is why I've been doing a line edit since I opened my eyes this morning. When I got off this call, I've got to go back. I've got 100 pages left, and I'll finish that before I go to bed. So you must do it first. So you must do what you dislike, do it first. Write in the chat about what you're going to do that you dislike and how I know you're going to do it first. The third habit of very successful, confident people is this. On the way to success, they take action every single day in the direction of their goals. What does that mean? Well, it means when I'm writing my book, I might write for 5.5 days a week. On the 7th day, I will actually go onto Amazon, look at some titles, maybe just do a spell check, a grammar check. Maybe if you have a product on your weekend off, which might be Saturday and Sunday, spend 5 minutes looking at other products, looking at what works, look at some YouTube tutorials. So in effect, you do something every day in the direction of your goals, 7 days a week. It might be 5 minutes, could be 10, but you don't go home having a whole weekend off. When you've made it, you can have as much time off as you like. But if you want to be in the Success Club, you must take action every single day in the direction of your goals. It can be just for 5 minutes. So it's not like, oh my God, I never get any downtime. What's the fourth thing? You must see denials as delays. You don't go, well, they didn't like it, that didn't work, it was no good. You must say, that was just a delay. You know, my first book, I sent it in, it was rejected, sent it back, it was rejected. It was rejected 4 times. And of course, the 4th time I got it back, I was kind of cut up about it. But I thought, you know what, they're not saying it's no good. Well, they are actually. But I'm saying, oh, I see, you know, it doesn't get them quickly enough. The first bit needs to be improved. The first page, the first chapter needs work. I need a different agent. I need a different publisher. My first book, I wasn't even offered $2,000. When I finally sold it, I got $130,000 for that same book for one reason. I saw every denial as a delay. I can rework this, change the title, send it to someone else, get a different publisher. And it was only because I didn't hear no. I heard no in this particular state, no as it is right now. You've all seen that suitcase trunky that it's in airports all over the world. And when that guy who invented took it onto Dragon's Den, Shark Tank, they said, this is rubbish, nobody will buy this. They pulled it, the strap, they went, you see, strap's broken. He went, it's prototype. No, it's nonsense. He was so angry. It has something called, I'll show you. I'll show you. And our trunky is wildly successful. And many people we know of, even J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter was rejected over and over again. One Direction came 3rd. They didn't win X Factor. So many people who've made it have faced a lot of rejection. But if you can see this is a delay, I need to do some work here, but don't get a denial. People who make it never take no for an answer. That is key. 4. Step 5 is you must be self-motivated. What does that mean? Well, how many of you here work for yourself or work at home? Probably most of you, probably 75% of you at least. And you see, years ago, you go to work and your boss goes, hey, well done. You know, what you said to that client, how you managed that team, what you did with that difficult customer was incredible. I noticed you did this, said that. And we have a praise muscle that grows when we get praise. But if you work from home, who's praising you? If you're your own boss, who's praising you? Your praise muscle is going to wither away from no use. So you have to learn to do this. You have to learn to use that praise muscle and say, today I was on fire. Today, the words coming out of my mouth, I was a genius. Today I did this. And it may feel silly, but remember, it's not silly. It is simply one thing. It's unfamiliar. And you can make it familiar by saying it over and over again. So what is unfamiliar becomes familiar. In this book, The Rules of Your Mind, I talk about one of the most important rules of the brain. The brain wishes to go back to what is familiar while going away from what is unfamiliar. For many of us, praise is not familiar. However, you must learn to say, this is good, this is great. When I wrote my first book, I had no experience. And I think, oh my God, that's not very good. Gosh, that's a bit long, that chapter. That's a bit school teachery. And then I began to go, no, it's freaking amazing. It's amazing. Because I had a choice. I could talk myself out of writing or into by going, it's so good. And I would visualize people at the airport holding my book. And if you want success, you've got to just do 3 things really well. Here they are. Massively increase positive self-talk, massively diminish negative self-talk, and visualize. So I would say, this book's amazing, this book is great, massively increased it. I imagine seeing it in the windows of shops. I go, because next year my book's going to be full, that window will be full of my book. I imagine book signings, and I decrease the negative. gosh, it's not good. I've never done this before. Who am I to write a book? So if you can do those three things well, by practicing, minimize negative self-talk, massively increase positive self-talk, and visualize, you'll do well. So the people who don't take no for an answer, who see a denial as a delay, are doing that. They're saying, this is good, this is a great product, they don't like it, it's their loss. I'm going to come back bigger and better than ever. And they powerfully self-motivate by doing the same thing. They tell themselves, this is good, I'm a genius, this is a great product, who couldn't love it? So now we're going to go on to step 6. They tell you they are good. They'll say, this is my gift. Sorry, God, I seem to have got a hair right in my eye. Oh, got it. This is my gift. This is my unique skill set. I tell this story of years ago. My partner, then not my husband, my ex-partner, had prostate cancer. And he said to me, I can deal with this. I don't want any help. Us therapists can't help but interfere. And he said, I've got a doctor. He's very nice. I'm seeing him and he's told me what to do. See, I went with him to see this doctor and he did this. So let me just turn that off. Let's imagine I'm the doctor and I've got his notes and I went, oh yes, Mr. X, you have this cancer. I'm going to try this. Never trust someone who says try. I'm going to do this. And if it doesn't work, we'll try something else. I said, I'm in the guide to the best doctors in the world. So I'm very connected. I can find you the best doctor for your cancer in the UK. And his name was Roger Kirby. So I don't want to see him. I said, just honor me, just honor me. So I took him along. And Mr. Kirby went, yes, you have this cancer. I'm going to do this, and you're going to survive. You'll live until you're 90. I happen to be the best prostate cancer doctor in Europe. So you're in good hands. And he went, well, I've already got a doctor. Who is he? He said, oh, I trained him. He's very good, but he's not as good as me. And he said immediately, I'm going to leave the student and come to the teacher, because one said, I'll try, and the other said, you will survive. You're in good hands. I'm the best. Now, if you can't tell people you're good, how will they know it? You must say, I'm the best coder, the best coach, the best writer. This is my gift. This is my skill set. You must do that. I'm going to recap all of these in just a minute. And step 7 is you must learn to delay gratification in a world where there's so much going on. If you can learn to kind of get up, make that call, then have my coffee as a reward. I'm going to talk to that client, and then I'm going to have a delicious dinner. I'm going to come home, and before I watch my favorite show, I'm going to do something. You see, we're wired to work and get the reward. Rather like our parents, say, tidy up your room, you can have an ice cream, do your homework, go out to play. But if you take the reward without doing the work, you never feel like a winner. So let's talk again about these 7 habits. Do what you dislike. Do what you dislike first. Take action every single day in the direction of your goals on your way to success. See a denial as a delay. Develop the bounce back factor. Never take no for an answer. Tell people you're good. Self-motivate. Actually, there's 8 things. Delay gratification, but I've put the first 2 together. Do what you don't like and do it first. So I'm going to have a quick look at your comments, and then I'm going to put you in hypnosis and wire in and code in these habits. You can work on all 7, or say, I just work on 1. I still wake up and say, what do I don't want to do? Do that first. I go to the gym first because I don't really love it, but weirdly, when I get there, motivation is not there when I need it. When I get there, begin to work out, I become motivated because I'm taking the action. So let's have a look at what you're saying and which ones are the easiest and which ones, and we're never going to say hard, which ones are the most unfamiliar that you can make familiar. I'm going to see a denial as a delay. Just give me a bit of time to read these because there are hundreds and hundreds of them, but I'm very happy to see them all. Who wants to join the group? Let's have it all. I have low self-esteem and low self-confidence, especially when it comes to career and relationships. Here's a hint. Take out your phone right now and write down, if your parents had a degree in raising you, if your boss had a degree in raising your self-esteem, what would they say? Write it down. They might say, you're invaluable to this company. You're so smart. Wow, you're so good at, you have such brilliant ideas. When you talk, I listen. Write it all down. And then here's the thing, start saying it to yourself. I am smart. I have amazing ideas. My gift is my talent is, because here's the thing about the brain. There is nothing that will increase your self-esteem like praise, nothing on the world. But if you're waiting for someone to do it to you, you're now needy. Well, you go, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go, hey, I'm a brilliant writer. Wow, I'm an amazing coder. Because the brain doesn't go, excuse me, who said that? It goes, oh, finally. You see, just as lotion is balm for your skin, words are balm for your soul. It is your job to start saying, I matter. I'm smart. I have these skills. We're going to be doing it in a minute. So before we begin, please make a note mentally or on your phone. What are the words you need to hear? You're indispensable to this company. You're so smart. How did I get so lucky to have you in my life? Think of the words you would like to hear. Make a note of them. We're going to do it in just a minute. Have a look at a few more. Do what you don't want to do. That's right around the corner. That's a great book. Thank you. Thank you. I think you're talking about my book. Maybe you're talking about someone else's. I'm going to believe you're talking about mine. What if you're depressed? You know, one of the causes of depression, harsh, hurtful, critical words that you say about you on a regular basis. Stop it, flip it, say, I matter, I'm smart, I'm lovable. I'm going to give you the key phrases in a minute. I don't know what I like to do. Well, here's a question. What did you love doing between the key ages of 5 and 15? That is the key to your excellence. Jo Malone was making perfume. I was writing books when I was 8. My daughter was doing art. She's a successful artist now. One of my friends, I was doing puzzles, now I'm a strategist. Remember, what did I love? What made my heart sing? Because you're here to find your gift, perfect your gift, market your gift. And you have a gift. Let me have a look at a few others. I want to finish my book. I'm going to eat my main meal earlier in the day. I'm going to learn the necessary IT skills. You see, people who've made it are not smarter than you, but they apply themselves. They do the hard stuff. They're posting on social media every day. They're watching YouTube tutorials every day. If someone has what you haven't, they are not smarter than you, but they may apply themselves, because it's one thing to go, hey, I'm going to manifest, manifest, manifest. You manifest not what you want, but what you think you're worth. And then you have to apply yourself, do the work, application. So rather than read these all, let's go straight into doing some hypnosis, and then I can have a look at these questions later. I'm going to stay online. We're going to do a Q&A, but I really want you to help me, because someone said I'm my own biggest fan. So your biggest fan means you tell yourself the words. You need to, I admire you, I appreciate, I value you. Let me just have a look at 2 more. I've lived in negativity for most of my life, trying hard to reverse this. Don't say trying. Trying implies failure. And then, hey, I'm going to try and pick up this pen and underline this piece of paper. I would never say that. So I am overcoming it. I'm changing it. I'm on it. I've already done it. I'm going to list all the negative stuff I heard, and I'm going to flip it. If I heard you're a nuisance, I'm going to say you're a gift. If I heard you're not interested, I'm going to say you're compelling, you're fascinating. It is your job. It was your parents' job, and I'm so sorry they didn't do it. It was your parents' job to meet your needs, and they didn't do it. But guess what? It's not their job. It's your job, and you can do it better than anyone in the world, because you know the things you didn't hear. So you must know the things you need to hear. I'm smart. I matter. I've got a gift. I'm here to find my gift, perfect my gift, monetize my gift. I'm unable to visualize. Well, you see, if you couldn't visualize, you'd never have a day's worry in your entire life. You wouldn't find your car in the car, but you wouldn't walk into the store and go, I need apples there on that aisle. So visualizing is all your senses, what you can see, what it feels like, what it looks like, what it smells like, what it tastes like. You do visualize, but forget about what does it look like. Focus on what kind of things would I like to hear? I'm great. Imagine your bank account with more money. Imagine going to the store, not having to look at the price of stuff. You can visualize that, but forget about what it looks like. What does it feel like? Do not worry about the cost of things. What things do you hear when your clients say, wow, I'm so lucky I've got you. You're worth every penny. I'd pay you more. What would it sound like and feel like? Because everyone is visual. You couldn't have a day of worry if you couldn't visualize. Okay, your hypnosis tracks have made such a significant difference in my self-talk. I tell myself several times a day that I'm proud of myself, and I state the particular reason why. It's made such a positive difference in my life. Thank you. You know, if one person believes in you, you'll do better. But we have to be that one person. So let's do something today. Let's lean in and lift ourselves up. So all I want you to do is look at my eyes. You're going to roll your eyes up, keep them up, close down the lids. So let's practice first. You cannot get this wrong. Pretend you're looking into your eyebrows. Roll your eyeballs up. Keep your eyeballs up and just close your eyelids down. And now let's do it for real. Roll up your eyeballs. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep your eyes open and rolled up. Breathe in. Breathe out. And just one more time. Keep your eyeballs up. Breathe in. Hold it. And as you exhale, keep your eyeballs up. And at the same time, close your eyelids down, drop your chin. Get that same looking down feeling that you might get as you look over a balcony or down a flight of stairs. Now I want you to imagine yourself moving down 10 steps. I want you to feel that looking down feeling. You're taking step 10. You're taking step 9. As you take step 8, you can see and hear and feel your feet connecting to every step. As you take step 7, the sound of your heartbeat is taking you deeper. As you take step 6, the sound of your breathing is taking you deeper. As you take step 5, the sound of my voice is taking you deeper into an awareness of yourself. As you take step 4, each muscle, every nerve is turning loose, letting loose. As you take step 3, every sound, noise, movement around you is taking you deeper. As you take step 2 and 1, go deeper, 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 and walk towards the door. This is the door to this membership club that you really want to join. You're now walking towards a beautiful oak door with a beautiful handle. It is a private club that you're about to join. It is a success club. And the dues you have to pay on entrance is applying these 7 habits every day, every week, until they stop being what you do and become who you are. So if you're willing to apply, to adopt, to own, to learn those 7 habits that everyone who's successful had to learn, no one's born with them. They may be born with 1 or 2, but they all had to learn them. So if you're ready to learn, to apply, to own, open that door, go into that club. And I want you to say out loud with your eyes shut, I belong here. I belong here. I'm meant to be here. So imagine going and sitting on a plush sofa. I'm going to have you say some words out loud. They may feel silly, but I want you to say them anyway. I want you to repeat out loud, sink into this sofa, feel the beautiful leather, smell that leather, feel its buttery softness, feel the opulence. People are bringing you coffee and food, and everything is high end. And I want you to say out loud with your eyes shut, I deserve this and I'm worth it. And again, really feel yourself in the most high-end membership club with massages and beautiful food, and it all smells so lovely and wealthy. I want you to say again, I deserve this and I am worth it. And one more time with unshakable conviction in your voice, I deserve this and I am worth it. Put your hand on your stomach, and I want you to really tune in to how you feel as you say, again, repeat after me, I deserve it, I'm worth it, I'm worthy of this, I'm deserving of this, this is where I belong. And when you say this, a few things will happen. You might think, yeah, this feels great, I love it, but you might also say, well, it feels really kind of sad because I don't believe it. You might say, I feel kind of angry, I don't believe it. You might even say, this is just silly old woo, but it's not, it's quantum physics. It's saying, raise your energy, raise your vibration. So sit in that success club. And I want you to notice they have artwork all over the walls. And as you look at that artwork, it's the 7 habits. There's a big piece of art that says all the members here do what they dislike and they do it first. This is required of you. Do what you dislike first. And the second piece of artwork says if you are in this club, you must take action every day in the direction of your goals on your way to success. And the third piece of artwork says you must see a denial as a delay. You must never take no for an answer. The next piece of artwork is a big red ball, and it says you must have the bounce back factor, bounce back from adversity. The next piece says you must be self-motivated, praise yourself, give yourself the words. The next piece says you must delay gratification. And the final piece says you must tell people you are good. So let's go back to that piece that said you must learn self-praise. I asked you before to think about the word you'd love to hear. If your parents had a degree in raising you, if your boss was totally motivated to grow you, if you had a mentor that said, hey, you can be just like me, you can be better than me. I've trained 20,000 therapists, and I tell them every time the same thing. Someone in this room is better than me. Someone in this room will be better than me, because that's true. So if you had a great mentor, a great boss, what would they say? And I want you now to start saying those words. I can't hear you. I want you to state them, affirm them, embody them. No mumbling. I am gifted. I am a phenomenal coder. I'm an outstanding coach. I'm a phenomenal entrepreneur. Say it again and again. And remember, your mind works in the present tense. And you don't say, I will be, I'm becoming. You must say, I am. I am a remarkable coder. I am so gifted at RT. I am exceptional at writing. I am the most outstanding coach. Say it. Keep saying it. And remember, this is not hard. It is simply unfamiliar. So keep seeing yourself. Really see yourself doing what you do not want to do and doing it first. And don't focus, what does that look like? What does it feel like to go, wow, I got up, I went to the gym, I've come back, I feel good. I got up, I spoke to my financial advisor, I got a loan, I feel good. I got up, I spoke to that client, I feel good. So never mind what it looks like. What does it feel like in your body when you do it? What are the words you say, wow, I did it. I feel so good. What does it feel like, sound like, look like? What does it smell like? Can you smell the money? Can you taste the success? So look at habit number 1, doing what you do not like first, and notice how good you feel. Let's go on to habit number 2, taking action every day. So it's your day off and you feel so good because you spent 5 minutes watching a YouTube tutorial, watching someone else's amazing podcast. You feel great. You feel like a winner because you're in the winners club and you're taking the winners' actions. That's what it requires of you. You never see a denial. You see a delay and you know how to overcome it. You praise yourself. Think now again of the words you want to hear. And remember, it is no one's job but you, and you can do this better than anyone, to say, I'm a great writer. I'm a great visionary. I have everything it takes to be the most outstanding entrepreneur. I can attract wealth. It is your job to fill yourself up, to nourish yourself from the inside out with these required words. If you give the job to someone else, you are needy. If you do it yourself, not only will you go to success, success will come to you. You see, Barack Obama, Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Eminem, Ed Sheeran, success didn't come to them. They had to go to it by making what was unfamiliar familiar. None of them came from wealth or riches, but they went to it and it came to them. So look again at those 7 habits and choose which one you're going to apply first, unless you want to do all of them. Do what you do not want to do first. Take action every day in the direction of your goal. See a delay as a delay, never a denial. Become self-motivated. Develop the bounce back factor like a big rubber ball. Tell people you are good. And delay gratification. Make everyday things, your bath, your shower, your coffee, your lunch, your favorite show, your screen time, a reward for doing something. Not only will you go to success, success will come to you. 80% of your success comes from having a success mindset. And the success mindset comes from these words: I'm worth it, I deserve it. So let's conclude this session for a few minutes more. I want you to shout this out at the screen. I'm worth it. I deserve it. I'm worthy of it. I'm deserving of it. Let's do it now. I'm worth it. I deserve it. I am worthy of this. I'm deserving of it. I'm going to success. And success is coming to me because I'm taking the right actions every day. I take action. I do what is required of me. And finally, I want you to understand something. Your problems are not because you haven't got money or have been promoted. It's because you live in a scarcity mindset. And if you want to manifest wealth and success, you can't do it while living in scarcity. And every time you say, I'm worth it, I deserve it, you're the opposite of scarcity. You're in an abundance mindset. What if it goes wrong? What if it fails? Is a scarcity mindset. I make it work as an abundant mindset that you are free to choose. And you're free to do it right now. You must believe you have value. You must do the opposite of scarcity. And you do it by saying over and over again. Let's do it one more time. I'm worth it. I deserve it. I'm worthy of it. I'm deserving of it. And let's add a few more. Repeat after me. I bring value to my career and my relationships. Repeat these words. I matter. I'm significant. I'm worth it. I'm deserving of it. I have a success mindset and I bring value, offer value. I am valuable. I'm valued. And again, if that feels silly or different, it just means you haven't made it familiar. But here's your chance. Say it one more time. And then decide every day when you wake up, you'll say these words. When you're in the shower, what else are you going to say? And I love the smell of this coconut soap. The water's coming down. It's kind of meditative. Say it in the shower. Write it on your fridge. Make it your phone passwords. Make it your screensaver. Write it on your mirror. Don't just do it. Become it. So welcome to the Success Club. Remember, you've got to keep doing these things to stay there. Remember, success doesn't come to you. You go to it. And if you apply these 7 habits, you'll go to it. You will own it, you'll make it familiar, you'll stay there. So let's get ready to come back into the room. But before you open your eyes, commit to doing this every day. There are 2 types of people. One who go, oh, that was a good talk, I like that. And the second who goes, no, I learned something and I'm applying it. I'm executing it. Application. Self-belief married to application will make you successful. So when you're ready, being certain that you're going to apply this. What are you going to say in the shower? What are you going to write on your fridge, on your mirror, on your hand? How are you going to remember these 7 things? Which one are you going to do first and which one are you going to do second? And tell everyone about it too, because when you tell people, you hold yourself accountable. When you're accountable, your chance of success goes up by 80%. When you write it down, it goes up by 42%. Now you got 122% of success. Tell everyone what you're doing, write it down. Take a deep breath, open your eyes, come back into the room. And please, I know you want to have a bit of a chill time, but please go into the chat and tell me what that felt like for you. Someone said, how to do it without looking arrogant. You see, arrogance is I'm brilliant me, I'm amazing me. You don't believe it. You're trying to convince them. This quiet confidence. This guy didn't go, hey, I'm the best doctor. Well, he did, but he said it with a quiet confidence. You see, if I went to Gordon Ramsay, Gordon, is the food good? Good, good. It's freaking amazing. I'm a great chef, but he wouldn't say I'm great at everything. So when you have one gift and you say, I'm an amazing coder, I'm an amazing plumber, I'm a phenomenal chef, I'm a great coach. It's not arrogance, it's quiet reassurance. Arrogance is convincing someone else because you don't believe it. That quiet confidence, I can help you. Let me help you. Let me give you some advice. I'm very confident in what I do as a therapist. It's my gift. I'm not a phenomenal chef. I have no idea how to garden or keep my swimming pool at the right pH. There's many things I'm not good at. But you're supposed to be good at one thing. If we were all good at the same thing, life would be very weird. We'd never go out for dinner. We'd tailor our own clothes. We'd plumb our own bathrooms. We'd tile our own kitchens. It would be a horrible world. You're here to be good at one thing, your unique area of excellence. And that's not arrogance to share it. because confidence is quietly reassuring. You're in good hands. But let me tell you a quick story. When I had cancer 10 years ago, I have so many blood tests. And I had one day where my veins had collapsed, my arm hurt. I said to this nurse, I'm sick of having blood tests. And she said, lucky you're in front of me. I'm the best phlebotomist in this hospital. You won't even feel it. Something in her voice made me believe her. I've been pricked so many times. I've had so many needles stuck in my arm. My veins had collapsed. But she said, I'm the best blood taker. You won't feel a thing. I gave her my arm, didn't feel a thing. And I never thought, well, she's arrogant. I thought, gosh, how lucky was I that I got the best one and that she told me, took away all my fear. She gave me quiet reassurance. I stuck out my arm. I didn't feel a thing. And I never thought, she's arrogant. I thought, gosh, she's gifted. How lucky I got to benefit from her gift. So you're not arrogant when you say, this is my gift. This is my skill set. I'm not saying I'm good at everything. So let me have a look at some of the things you have said. I think I denied gratification so much I burnt out. And please kindly recap the numbers only up to 5. So one more time, hey, do what you dislike. Do it first. Take action every day in the direction of your goals. Somebody please type this out. Do what you dislike first. Take action every day in the direction of your goals on your way to success. See a denial as a delay. See yourself as a big rubber ball, bounce back. Self-motivate. Tell people you're good and delay gratification. There are actually 8. By the way, they're all in this book. So if you buy it, it's like $12, maybe 15. Got some audio, it's all in there. So let me have a look. I want to do a YouTube channel. I don't want to do it, but I do. I'm going to do it. I get overwhelmed. So instead of being overwhelmed, say I'm coping. I have great coping skills. This is all coming to me. It's very important. Trying to parent to be successful. Well, as a parent, when you go home, take work out of your head and be present with your kids. That's all they ever want. I was my mother's helper. She treated me as if I couldn't do anything right. I never could be a leader. Well, you weren't designed to raise your mother's kids. That's not your gift. Let that go. Find your gift. I'm not enough to, I'm not being to be enough and to be loved and worth it. Repetition. I am. You see, the words that follow am are going to follow you your entire life. The words that go after am are going to go after you. So that's why you must say, I am worth it. I'm deserving. I'm smart. I'm a great writer. I'm a phenomenal coder. I'm amazing at IT. I'm the best chef ever. You must say it. I've never had anyone compliment me. That's a great shame. But today it's your job. So that's unfamiliar, make it familiar. You know, Stephen Bartlett tells his story. He didn't come from wealth or success. He showed up in that podcast. Nobody came, but he kept doing it. And now he's very successful, very wealthy. And his life is nothing like the life he was born into. What else? As soon as you say something about how great you are, you make a mistake. Well, but Napoleon said, a person who never made a mistake never made anything. You only learn by making mistakes. Here's one I love. I'm a capable, exceptional coach and hypnotherapist. So you see, you need to layer it. Don't go, I'm a great coach. I'm a phenomenal, outstanding, exceptional coach. Don't say I'm good at IT. Say I am massively gifted at IT. Put words in front of words. I have a lot of gifts. Well, good. Let me see what else we've got. I've been suffering about not being needed, even if I'm good. Well, you can fix that. You can change all of this. I'm going to finish building my website by working on it every day. Thank you. That's the success. Every day, even if it's just a few minutes a day, keep going. What else have we got here? Is it possible to understand through hypnosis what is my gift? I don't remember what I'd enjoyed between 5 and 15 years. Well, here's your thing. Your gift is connected to and lies behind what you love to do. The great chef, I love cooking. A great gardener, love gardening. A great accountant loves numbers. So what do you love? What makes your heart sing? Because you are here to find your gift, perfect your gift, and monetize your gift. To take some time and work out what makes me feel good. What makes my heart sing? What do I love to do? What do you do when you feel financially stuck? Well, you've got to say, money is coming to me. I'm monetizing a gift. How to discover your purpose. Again, your purpose is what makes your heart sing. It's very hard to succeed doing what you hate. So I'm going to have Elise come in just a minute, because she has a story of not knowing what her gift was, thinking she belonged in the corporate world, being burnt out, being unfulfilled, and then she found her gift. Her gift found her, and then, like anyone who finds their gift, she became successful. So many of our therapists find their gift, they become a therapist. That's real purpose and meaning. When you can change someone's life and change your own along the way, you have meaning, purpose, and impact. You know, we don't fear dying, we fear dying having never made an impact. So I'm going to hand you over to Elise. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to read all your comments. I'm going to answer all your questions. I'm not going anywhere. But Elise is someone who is in a different field, unfulfilled, burnt out, and actually very, very unwell. And today, she's living her best life because she did something that all of you can do. She made something new familiar, something that was hurting or unfamiliar. She's living her best life on her terms with financial freedom, flexibility, and a job that gives her purpose and meaning. So over to you, Elise, while I read all these great comments.
Thank you so much for Marissa, and stick around everyone, because Marissa is coming back as well for a Q&A. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my journey with RTT, and I know quite a few of you kind of come to these webinars regularly, so will know my story. But as Marissa said, when we do webinars like this, they kind of remind me of where I've come from and how far I've come, because I've been where a lot of you were right now. Reading that chat earlier actually was making me feel quite tearful, because a few years back, that was me, not feeling good enough, having very low self-confidence, very low self-esteem. And ultimately, I was working in a really unfulfilling job for, 20 years. I was working in the world of PR and media. And from the outside, everything looked absolutely fine. I was putting on this professional front, doing presentations in front of thousands of people, pitching. And yeah, I seemed to be this, happy, confident person. But actually behind the scenes, it was a very, very different story, because I was struggling with chronic anxiety to the point where I was an anxious, people-pleasing child who grew into an anxious, people-pleasing adult. And I saw work as a way of getting myself validation. And I was running from a lot of these rules that, when I think about it now, having read Marissa's book, I got a sneak preview, that, there were rules that I created in childhood, so that I needed to push myself, that I needed to prove myself and constantly achieve. I was the, top of the class when I was sort of, in primary school. And that to me meant that I was winning at life. But over time, that constant need to achieve just became more and more difficult. And as I took that into the adult world and into my working life, I was working in a horrible, toxic work environment at the time, where it was all about the hustle. You were praised for working ridiculous hours. I used to go into work at 6 a.m. in the morning. I didn't leave till midnight at night. I was barely eating, barely sleeping. I was constantly anxious, catastrophe at every corner. And my life was really miserable. It was just, I was living to work, basically. I had nothing else in my life whatsoever, because I've made work my life, because that was my way of saying, I'm good enough. If I can do this and I can keep going, if I can keep pushing these anxious feelings down, I'm winning. And so I never spoke about the fact that I was hugely anxious, to the point where I was so anxious at one point that I actually used to physically faint, because I would get myself into such a spiral where my heart was racing and my stomach was churning, that I would literally just faint. But I didn't tell anybody, because if I felt like if I told someone that I was struggling, they would look at me and would go, "You're struggling, get over yourself. What are you, weak?" And for someone to tell me that I was weak, that was game over for me. So I pushed myself and pushed myself, worked around the clock, really struggling with anxiety. And eventually, after probably about the space of about 4.5 years of doing this, I eventually just completely burnt out. And it almost was kind of overnight, because I'd kept myself going. I'd kept myself, on the adrenaline, must keep going. And then one day I remember I had a particularly terrible, terrible day. And I remember coming home and sitting down and uttering these words to myself. I remember saying, I've got to stop this, because I'm making myself unwell, and I'm going to make myself chronically unwell unless I stop this now. And as Marissa always says, your mind is a wonderful thing. And it takes every word that you say to it, not as a suggestion, but as an instruction to your mind. And actually, a few years later, after the birth of my son, I actually started experiencing lots of different, very odd, strange physical and sensory symptoms. And ultimately, I was diagnosed 2.5 years later with multiple sclerosis. And I do genuinely think that it was me putting my body and mind under years and years of pressure and stress and being so desperately unhappy as well. I despised that job and everything about it, and it wasn't me. And I completely burnt out. And because I didn't listen to my body, I just went, no, 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 stay strong. Don't let anybody see that you're failing, and kept going. That actually my body just screamed out and said, you know what, you're not listening to me, so I'm going to make you stop. And so it gave me this chronic health condition. And then I spent 2.5 years in a spiral of depression and anxiety, just waiting to get worse. The doctors sort of sent me away, said, take these drugs, they'll probably slow it down, but you will get gradually worse. And I felt like my life was over. And I just mourned the loss of the life that I once had, even though I was desperately miserable, but also what was going to happen next. But eventually my son, I had like a small child. My diagnosis was just a few months after my child was born. And eventually when I got the diagnosis, my son was offered a space at nursery. And I was glad because I kind of wanted him almost to get away from me because I was just this ball of anxiety and depression. So I felt glad that he went in a way, which is a horrible thing to say, but I just felt like he needed to be away from me and have some positivity because at this point I had nothing. I was so negative and I was literally just living life as a hermit and waiting to get worse. But then when he went to nursery, I thought, do I want to spend the rest of my life like this? Or do I want my son to see me trying to do something to help myself? I don't want to see me getting gradually worse and me constantly in bed and crying and upset. And so I started to look at ways that I could help myself. I thought there must be something, even if you can give me a little bit of confidence, it can help with the anxiety. And so I did a lot of research and I came across RTT. I came across Marissa. And I saw a video on her YouTube channel, and it was like she was speaking directly to me because she was talking about the power of the body and the mind. She was talking about people overcoming physical health conditions using rapid transformational therapy. She was talking about how we lose this body-mind connection, and sometimes that results in dis-ease in the body. So it's not disease, it's dis-ease in the body. And it was like she was speaking directly to me through the screen. And I thought, there's something in this. Something in this is saying to me, this could work for me. And so I decided to go and do a session with a lovely lady. And I thought, let's tackle anxiety, because even if I can feel less anxious, because at this point I was so worried that I was going to have some sort of MS attack when I was out of the house, that I was barely leaving the house. But even if it helps with that, it'd be really, really good. And so I went and did one session, and the results that I got from that session were just amazing, because I left that session feeling like this huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I just felt so much lighter. That's the only way that I can explain it. And in the following weeks, I found that actually my confidence, I felt more confident. I was feeling less anxious, but I was also finding that the MS symptoms that I had, which were a lot of sensory symptoms, but chronic fatigue was one of them. So I actually felt a little bit more energized, and I thought, wow, okay, there really is something in this. And so I decided to go on and do 3 more sessions and tackle the big one. Let's go in, let's try and tackle the MS, and let's stop this in its tracks, because I don't want it to define me. And I went and did 3 sessions over the space of, I think it was about 6 or 7 months. And the results that I got were amazing. The chronic anxiety, completely gone. The chronic fatigue that I've been experiencing, completely gone. One of the things I really struggled with was brain fog. I could barely string a sentence together, which meant I found it so hard to speak to people, because I would be worrying that they were judging me. They were like, is she drunk or something? She's slurring her words, or she's, in the middle of a sentence and she suddenly stopped. I suddenly felt clearer, lighter, and so much better. And suddenly, over the space of after doing those 3 sessions, over the space of about a year, I just suddenly felt so much better. The symptoms that I'd been experiencing, had issues with my eyes, pins and needles in my arms and legs, a feeling of like water going down. So really odd symptoms, chronic pain as well, like nerve pain. I suddenly felt so much better. I was like, wow, this has completely changed my life. And because I felt so much better, I thought, I need something now. I need to do something. Why aren't more people using RTT? Because on my journey, I discovered lots of people in support groups who were struggling to find help, apart from doctors saying, take these drugs and they'll help you, probably, but go away. And I thought, I need to help these people the way this lady has helped me. But can I do it? Because I still had that little confidence thing. Can I do this? Can I do this? But eventually I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go and try it because I've got to make a difference to other people's lives. And so I actually made the decision to go and train in RTT. And I am so glad that I did, because, oh my gosh, it's the best thing that I've ever done in my entire life. RTT changed my life, transformed my life. And now I'm on the life path that I should have always been on. And I'm there. And my experience of the training was absolutely fantastic, because I was nervous to start with, like, can I do this? What if the MS things come back and mess with it? But the support that I got from the team was just amazing. The training is absolutely brilliant. You do virtual classrooms, you have time with Marissa, time with the trainers, and you're all in the same boat when you join RTT. I describe it as like one big family, because basically everybody's having those same fears. Can I do this? Oh, I feel a bit worried about trying this. But actually, when you meet your peers on the virtual classrooms, you're all in the same boat, and you all help each other, give each other support, give each other feedback. And it just was truly amazing. And now I have the privilege now of helping people all over the world to transform their lives the way Marissa and RTT transformed my life. And life as a therapist now is far and away from me working in that horrible corporate environment, because I wake up every day with purpose. And I always used to kind of poo-poo people that were like, oh, yes, I went away to find myself and now I found my purpose. But it's absolutely true, because when you find your purpose and you're doing what you truly love, it transforms your entire life. And so life as a therapist now, so why do I love it? Obviously, I'm helping people every day to get well. I specialize in working with people with chronic health conditions and chronic anxiety, purely because I've got the experience in that area, so I can empathize with people. But what I really love about it is the freedom and flexibility that I never had when I worked in the corporate world. So I am a single mum to an active 12-year-old who has football classes and programs and things that he goes on all of the time. And it means that I can juggle whatever I'm doing with him. I never miss a school play. I never miss a parents' evening, because actually it's so flexible working as a therapist that I can work it around him as well. I love the way that I can dial it up or dial it down. So if I've got a month where I know that I'm particularly busy or I'm going on a holiday, I can say, I'm not going to take on as many clients this month. Sometimes I'll go, no, let's go all in this month, and I'll take on more clients. So the flexibility I just love. And I love the way that you can work from anywhere as well. Actually, I went on holiday to Mexico last year, and I was working with 3 clients on a program that I run, a 16-week program. And I took my iPad with me and I carried on doing my client sessions, because I love what I do. I genuinely love it. And I could just take my little iPad over, do my sessions, go back to the pool. So you can do it from anywhere as well. But what I loved when I trained in RTT, I found actually that what I was doing, I was also doing a lot of kind of coaching training. So people were coming to me and doing RTT sessions, but then I was kind of giving them informal coaching around it. So when Marissa introduced rapid transformational coaching, I was like, brilliant, I've got to do this as well. So I went and did that as well. And I think they're so powerful when you combine them together, because it's such a holistic approach then. Because with RTT, you're getting to the root cause of people's issues that are holding them back, and you're releasing them, recoding them, their minds to move forward for better beliefs. And you're giving them the power to get past those limiting beliefs. But then with coaching, you're giving them the plan then to where now? Where are we going now? Where am I taking you? So this is why I just thought it was so amazing when a few months back, we launched the RTT integrated program, because actually it combines rapid transformational therapy with rapid transformational coaching, but also business support, which I wish I'd had this, because my background helped me, I suppose, a bit with like the sort of PR side of things. And obviously you get comprehensive training so that you can be a phenomenal therapist. But I had no idea about running a business. How was I going to get clients? How was I even going to get started? And this is why the integrated program is so amazing and blows every other coaching and therapy program out of the water, if I'm honest. Because Marissa has just devised this amazing program which focuses on all of this, and so you can focus on the transformation without the guesswork. So you're going to get that business support. So I think George is going to bring up some slides just so we can tell you a little bit more about the integrated program. So I'm just waiting for them to come up. Hopefully you can all see them. Amazing. So there. So I've kind of just mentioned that as well, because obviously it's giving you a life of freedom and fulfillment, meaningful work. You're waking up every day knowing you're genuinely transforming lives. And there is nothing better than working with a client and them coming back to you and saying, oh my God, you've changed my life. I'm going on to do great things now. And it's just the best. I mentioned this as well, complete freedom. So you're your own boss. You set your own hours. You can work from anywhere in the world. Financial success. I'm earning way more than I was when I was in the corporate world, because I've built a thriving practice with high earning potential while doing work that I genuinely love to do. The flexibility I mentioned earlier, you work wherever you want to work from. You can do this part-time or full-time. You can fit your practice around travel, your children, or any other commitments that you've got. I know a lot of people sometimes start out and they do it when they're still working full-time job, and then they transition into doing therapy full-time. Continuous growth, you're always learning, you're always growing. And this is what I love about the programs that Marissa does, is that it's never like, right, you've graduated, bye. We always give you that ongoing support and continuous professional development as well. And I touched on this earlier, the community, that made such a big difference to me from, being a hermit for such a long time and not really sort of mixing with people. Joining that network of other RTT therapists and practitioners who understand and support your journey was so good for me, because like I say, you're all in the same boat and you're all there to help and support each other. We really are like a big RTT family. So in terms of the integrated program, what do you get? So it's this complete business infrastructure. Ultimately, it's a full partnership with Marissa, where you're going to get help to get clients. We're going to help you handle all the systems and the marketing. So client support. So we're going to help you to find prospective clients through our Inner Belief platform. So we're going to give you that support there. We're going to help you with things like your paid advertising. So running and funding your advertising campaigns on Facebook and Google, helping you build your own website, helping you do all things like your booking systems, your payment processing, your scheduling, all handled for you. And also help you with that marketing support. We're going to show you how to position yourself, how to find your niche if you decide to have one, and how to attract your ideal clients. And Marissa is so confident in this that she has a success guarantee. So if you don't earn back your investment in the first 12 months, our expert team are going to provide you with personalized support. So it really is absolutely amazing. It's basically a business in a box. So basically you're getting all of this stuff together so that you can just really focus on doing what you want to do, which is ultimately go out there, be a phenomenal therapist, help people and transform lives. So if you have been thinking about training in RTT, I can't recommend it highly enough, because it has completely transformed my life, the therapy itself, but also life as a therapist now. So don't hesitate, book your call now with our amazing team. And don't worry about feeling like, I know I put this off for about a year or so, where I was thinking, oh, I don't want to book a call because what if they try and sell me something, or what if I don't want to do it? And it wasn't like that at all. Eventually I booked that call, and they were so lovely, because they just asked me lots of questions, because ultimately they want to know whether RTT is a good fit for you, but whether you're a good fit for RTT as well. So they're going to answer all the questions that you'll possibly have. I know you've got lots of questions in the chat, and we will come around to them, but the best thing that you can do is book that call. Don't be scared, don't be worried, and don't be a dummy like me and put it off for a year, because imagine yourself a year from now, sitting where I'm sitting, going from that, not feeling confident to feeling full of confidence. I mean, I wouldn't be here without RTT. I wouldn't be able to have got out of bed to have got the energy to be here. I wouldn't be able to string a sentence together to be able to tell you about this. And I wouldn't have had the confidence to do it. If you'd said to me 10 years ago, oh, you're going to be hosting a live webinar in front of thousands of people, I would have said, get out of town. So trust me, it's absolutely amazing. Book your call now. Don't delay, because like I say, in a year's time, you could be where I am, full of confidence, running a thriving practice, and on your true life path, and enjoying and loving what you do every single day. So I think we've got a QR code on screen. So yes, book your call. I can't recommend it enough. It's absolutely fantastic. And I think, Marissa, we're going to bring you back in a second. I know you answered lots of questions earlier, but I think there's a fair few more in the chat. So Marissa, we'll just get you back on screen and we'll just run through some of the questions. Okay. So we've got a few questions here about the program, actually, because I've just kind of touched on it but let's run into more detail about it, because someone's asking about how long is the program. So it's kind of in 3 phases, isn't it, Marissa? And it's in total around 21 months. Is that right?
It is, but you can start working. I believe it's after 6 months you'll get your first certificate, because you're learning hypnotherapy, coaching, and clinical hypnotherapy. 3 different modules, but the first module is completed after 6 months. You can begin to work, you can see paying clients, you'll be certified, we show you how to get insurance, so you're completely safe. And it's what we call earn while you learn. So then you'll go on to the second module, that you're seeing clients using the first one. And in 21 months, you'll be certified in RTT, hypnotherapy, RTT coaching, and clinical hypnotherapy too. And we also teach you marketing, how to find clients. We help you build your website. We do everything for you. It's a kind of partnership. And if you want to know more, just book a call and we'll show you how you can have the same life that I have and Elise has, with the same skills and the same phenomenal success rate.
Giovanna's asked, is the call free? And it's absolutely free, yes. There's no conditions on it, so you can just book your call. There's no cost.
You book it. We don't ask you for any money. It's a completely free call. We're trying to find out, are you right for us? Are we right for you? Not everyone's right for this, but for those of you who are, it's the best job in the world. I will never retire. I love it so much. The call is free, no obligation, no hard sell. It's really just to answer your questions, because every person here has a different question. They're not all going to get answered. But if you book your call, then you can at your leisure ask questions you may want to ask in private. You might want to say something like, I don't know, somebody might say, hey, I'm a little overweight myself. So then I would feel I couldn't really be a therapist. But one of the great things about the training is that every week you're being both a therapist and a client. So you're getting fixed as you go along. So you may feel, I don't want to ask a question here. It's too personal. Maybe it's going to identify me, but certainly you can ask that question in private. But do be aware that because this is so powerful, you can turn up with your own issues, you'll leave without them. There's a girl called Bertie that I trained, my very first training, is I can't speak in public, I don't like being the focus of attention. By the end of her training, I was giving her some of the jobs I couldn't do, some of the speaking jobs and radio jobs. And she was very good, and still is, at speaking in public, because she got fixed while she was fixing other people. Other people were actually fixing her.
Someone is asking, can I actually succeed as a therapist without any prior experience?
You know, I often look at the therapists I've trained. I take this training all over the world, to Berlin, to Amsterdam, to Melbourne and Sydney, Los Angeles, New York, Miami, London. And the trainers I take with me who are the best, very few of them are existing therapists. They were police officers, they were coaches, but they weren't actual therapists. And so you don't need any background in therapy. What you need is what I call a heart for this, a great desire to help people. So no previous experience is required. Can you say, let me know if you can hear me, because my screen's just gone dead.
Yeah, I can hear you, Marissa. You're all good.
Okay, that's great. So you don't need any experience. You just need what I call a heart for this. So that's what makes you good. Our training is so thorough and so comprehensive. We've trained city workers, bankers, police officers, nurses. We've trained pilots, and we've trained cabin crew, flight attendants. We've trained people from every walk of life. PAs, personal trainers, massage therapists, you name it. And the best ones were not existing therapists. The best ones were people who just had always worked in a people-facing, like a yoga teacher, for instance, a police officer, a flight attendant who was used to dealing with people, were the best ones. But even if you haven't got that, we'll still help you get it.
And someone's asked a kind of related question, but I think you probably answered there. Like, do you have to have a certain level of education to do the program?
No, not at all. I mean, of course, we want you to be able to understand what we're doing and teaching you. So obviously finishing school, but that's about it.
Okay. And does it matter about age? Is there an age limit, Marissa? I know we're asked that question quite a lot, aren't we?
We are. I mean, you know, I had a guy, it was so interesting. He wanted to come on the course, and he called me and said, hey, I'm going to use my pension to pay for this course. I said, oh, no, I couldn't possibly take your pension. We didn't have that many places on that particular course. So I actually denied him a place because I thought I wouldn't be happy taking his pension. But he managed to call again, and someone else took the money and gave him a place, and he turned up, and then later he said, this is the best job, and you know, I've retired. And I was so bored But also I didn't want to work 40 hours a week. He said, now I work 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. And guess what else? He married another therapist that was on our course, and now they run a business together. I love that. So I was so lonely. I was 68. I was lonely. I was bored. I didn't know what I could do with my life. But now I've got a great life, a great wife, and we have a practice together. And we both work 3 hours a day, 4 days a week, make a lot of money. But even more than that, we have this great joy of helping people in our community. It's a true vocation. So lucky for me that he snuck around the corner and paid his pension to do our training, because he earned it all back, and he found a wife in the process too. So I love that story.
Yeah, that's a lovely story.
So the oldest person we've trained is about 75. And, you know, it's great because she too, she works in her community. She can work 1 hour a day, 3 hours a day, 1 day or 4 days a week. And she loves it. You're sitting in a chair. It doesn't require much of you. You don't have to commute to work, which is great. She works from her kitchen table, and she does the best job in the world.
Desiree saying, I hope I've pronounced that right. Obviously, we get trained to be therapists, but do we get therapy ourselves, so to speak? And you do, Marissa, don't you? Because we do reflective practice as part of the program.
There's a practice register you go on, because of course you're doing a lot of this training remotely. So there's a practice register, and you are paired up with someone to do therapy over the screen, and in your community, if someone's local, you can do it live. But yes, you do 3 things. You're a therapist, and you're the client, but you're also sometimes the observer. So every single week you're giving a session and receiving one. So it couldn't be possible after all that you wouldn't have fixed your issues. You absolutely will have fixed all your issues and more.
Another question here. I'm not very business savvy. How will the course help me get the business going in the first place?
Well, we teach you all the things you require. What is your message? What is your niche? What should your website look like? How to use social media? How do you do a podcast? We teach you. In fact, some of our therapists have got their own podcast, their own book, their own magazine column. So we're going to teach you everything. It's in our interest to make you successful. We don't say, here's the training, goodbye. In fact, we do masterclasses. We've had people like Mark Hyman come on our masterclasses and teach you. So we teach you everything to have a business. What is your message? Who is your client? Where are they? What do they need to hear from you? How can you do what we call a conversion? How can you sell your services? How can you have a package? If you book a call, is in the link, they will explain to you exactly how we show you marketing. Because you're the best therapist in the world, people have to know who you are, where you are, and what is your speciality. So book a call and ask them those questions. Tell me about the marketing. Tell me about the business opportunities. Tell me how you can teach me, because many therapists are empaths and they have no idea what marketing is. In today's world, it's very important to understand how to market yourself, how to tell people what you do, how to convert your message, and how to find clients. And we do all of that with you and indeed for you.
And I think that's what makes it really different, this program, Marissa, because so often you see people either teach the therapy or teach the coaching, and then they leave you to it. And you're kind of like, great, I've got all the skills, but I don't know what to do next. So it's so fantastic that we put the business training in with the therapy and the coaching as well. Like I say, like a business in a box. Just a quick question here, actually, that someone's asked about RTT in general. Can RTT help with ADHD for someone who gets overwhelmed and procrastinates a lot?
Well, procrastination and self-sabotage are just different versions of not enoughness, ADHD, attention deficit disorder. You have to learn to dialogue with your brain, because even people who have that will say, when I'm watching my favorite show or reading something, I can narrow down my focus. So with any of these issues, including ADHD, you can dialogue with your brain in a different way and learn to have focus. So you can focus, you can narrow down. It's what I call comprehend, concentrate. Sorry, it's just gone out of my mind now. I teach this 3 technique where you focus, you concentrate, you absorb, you retain. And it's a very important thing to do with people who have ADHD, because they feel they can't focus, they can't absorb, and they can't retain information. But you can train your brain to do the exact opposite: focus, absorb, and have great retention and assimilation. That's the word I was looking for, assimilation.
Thanks, Marissa. There's quite a few people in the chat saying, how do I book a call? So if someone could pop into the chat just to book a call link, that would be amazing. Marissa, why is RTT different from other therapy methods?
Well, you've got to do three things. You've got to find the pattern, understand the pattern, change the pattern all at the same time. If you go to AA, they're very busy understanding the pattern. If you go to coaches, sorry, not coaches, a psychotherapist, they're very interested in understanding the pattern. But that's not enough. People say, I know why I drink, I still drink. I know I scream at my kids, but I still scream at my kids. So you've got to do three things. Find the pattern immediately, totally understand the role it's been playing in your life, and then change it. Just changing it is not enough. And just finding it is not enough. You must do three things. The brain is very heavily patterned, and we are repatterning the brain all the time. We're actually coding new behaviors into your brain, and it's an amazing thing to do. The ability of the brain to repattern itself is something that scientists are discovering more every day, but you can code and wire and fire a new behavior into the brain. And as you fire the new one in, you simultaneously let the old one go. But it's three things. It's put on your detective hat and understand, hey, what happened? And then put on your extractor hat and extract that old stuff, and then put on your coder hat and code in a brand new form of behavior. Because only therapy that changes your neural pathways works. It has to change your neural pathways. Only therapy that does that works and works forever. Talk therapy does not change your neural pathways. Even tapping doesn't change your neural pathways. RTT changes your neural pathways. So new pathways are created and old ones disintegrate. So if you're having any therapy or training in anything, ask yourself one question. Does this change my neural pathways, or can I change someone else's neural pathways? If the answer is no, really don't bother, because it's a waste of time. You want therapy that changes your neural pathways. That's the only one that lasts, and that's exactly what we're very proud to say RTT does, and does really, really well.
And that's absolutely true, Marissa, because I tried over the years of dealing with anxiety. I tried so many different things. I did CBT, I went and did talk therapy. I probably spent thousands of pounds and hours of my time trying to get me to feel better in any sort of way. And I always describe it now to people where these things tend to work for a little while, like it's almost like a sticking plaster approach, because they cover over the symptoms for a little while and you start to feel better. But then that sticking plaster starts to wear off, and that root cause, that pain, is still there. And you start to be looking for the next emotional crutch. What's going to help me next? Whereas that's where RTT is different, because it goes to the root cause of the problem, gives you that understanding and that power to challenge, change it, and rewires and recodes your mind to move forward. So it really does blow everything else out of the water, I have to say.
You know, I put my book, and then I put Let Them by Mel Robbins, who I really like, into ChatGPT, and I said, hey, tell me the difference. They said, well, Mel's book is an aspirin, but your book is the surgery. And I love that. Let Them is an aspirin, but RTT is the full-on surgery. So you can take an aspirin to get rid of pain, but the full-on surgery removes the pain forever. And most of our clients will say, I've been in therapy for 15 years, but how come you worked me out in 20 minutes? I've seen a therapist for so long, and yet I came to you, and I was always known as a therapist. Therapists would come to me and say, how are you getting these results in an hour? Doctors would send me their hardest clients. And, you know, one of my clients was on breakfast television talking about her shopping addiction, her food addiction. And she said, Marissa cured me in an hour, because she made me believe I was enough. And when I went home, her doctor called me and went, oh, that was so depressing. I said, what? He said, well, I've been seeing that girl for 7 years and you fixed her in an hour. And I said, well, I can teach you my technique. No, I don't want that. I'm a psychiatrist. I don't want your technique. And I said, well, why wouldn't you want it? You just said you got nowhere with her in 7 years. Send it to me. And I fixed her in an hour. And she went on breakfast TV with me. And we talked about her amazing transformation when she could really code in this enoughness, because whether you're addicted to food or shopping or drinking or followers, all addictions, when I'm not enough, I need more. And so behind all addictions is I'm not enoughness. And we fix both at their core. So you don't think, well, I've stopped drinking, now I'm just eating loads of cake. I stopped taking drugs, but now I'm buying lots of stuff. So interesting that so many, you see, pain is not treated as equal. You could say, hey, if you go to the emergency and say, I'm in so much pain, I've broken my knee or my tooth's fallen out. They don't say, well, let me get out my notepad. tell me about this pain. When did it happen? And then they say, well, we've made very good progress today. Come back next week and we'll discuss your pain. So pain is not equal. The emergency room, the doctor, the dentist, the chiropractor, they bring me your pain, I'll fix it. The therapist bring me your pain, we'll have a 4-year discussion about it. And that's not right. Clients in pain, any pain, the pain of I can't find love, I self-sabotage, I'm blocked in my career, that is pain. And they need the same immediate treatment they'd get going to the emergency room with a broken leg. So RTT is like the emergency room. It offers you immediate, permanent, powerful pain, and talk therapy doesn't. And that's not to blame talk therapists, because they were trained in this method and told, this is what we all need. I tell you, if you are in pain, you need one thing, and it's this. Can you get me out of pain? So every client says, hey, can you take me out of pain? I should be, yes, of course I can, right now. And RTT says, I can take you out of pain today. And talk therapy says, you can build a relationship with me, and over time we'll get better. And that's not right for the therapist who was taught that, and it's definitely not right for the client. People want to come out of pain the day they visit you, not 4 years later.
Marissa, I'm going to tie these two questions together because the one answers the other one. But is this purely online, or is there a live element? And then someone else has said, hang on, I've seen that there is an RTT live in London. Can you tell me more?
Yes, so it's both. It's online, but the online is live online. You're not sent a bunch of videos to look at. There is a live classroom online. So you're in a classroom with me and my trainer. So it is live online training, but we do have a 5-day element where you get the supervision that's so necessary. And we have been doing this all over this year, because I've got my book coming out and I've got so much going on. There's only one live training this year in London in June. There's still some places left. We normally do it in Los Angeles, in London, in Amsterdam, and in New York. But this year, I've got such a busy book schedule, and my new podcast is coming out, Your Mind, Your Rules, got some great people on there. So this year, there's only one live training. If you want to be on it, apply today. You can start the online. You need to do 3 modules, and then you can turn up in June, live with me in the room in Chelsea. It's an amazing venue. And you get the supervision, the mentorship, all the things that you require. So if you want to be in the live 5-day class with me, I'm there every day, then again, book a call and reserve your spot, because we have some spots left, but we won't have a lot of spots left for very long. And again, in the room, you're getting live therapy with me, with other people. We do the healing vortex as a group. We do cell command therapy as a group. We do a lot of group hypnosis. So bring your issues and you can leave without them. Book a call and see how you can secure that slot. You can go ahead and reserve a slot now. We'll give you some time to pay the deposit. But if you really want to come, please book a call today just to secure your slot in Chelsea, in London this June.
Amazing. And that's June the 1st to the 5th, isn't it, Marissa?
It is, yeah, June the 1st to the 5th.
Amazing. I'm seeing lots of people booking calls. If you have booked your call, we always like to give you a shout out. So if you'd like a shout out from me and Marissa, just pop into the chat that you've booked your call. I can see that Amy's booked her call. I can see Dee's booked their call. There's quite a few in there. So yeah, we can give you a shout out there. But I think this question's coming up quite a lot as well. How much can RTT therapists charge, Marissa?
Well, we usually start at $250. That seems about right when you're brand new. $250 a session, but we also show you how to sell packages so that you can move away from I'm doing a session. I can have clients who come in and do RTT therapy, then RTC coaching. So we show you how to sell packages. But if you're looking at an hourly rate of about $250 an hour, and then of course, as you build up your experience, you can charge more. You can also do some free sessions to get going. But what I'd also recommend is if you're in Manhattan, look at the rate of the best therapist there. If you're in, I don't know, the middle of Kansas, it might be a different rate because someone in Manhattan has got a lot more expenses. So you can pitch yourself against the best therapist in your area and you can charge exactly what they charge. So it's a great living because you work for yourself. You can set your own hours and you can set your own rates, and you can go from start at $250 and take it as far as you want to.
Someone's asking again how to register for London Live. So just book your call. That's literally what you do need to do. Just book the call, speak to the team. They'll talk you through it all and answer any questions that you have. So don't delay. Like I say, don't delay like I did.
We always had 7 lives a year, and this year we've really literally got one. We've always done 2 in London, 1 in Amsterdam every year, 1 in Los Angeles, 1 in New York. But this year there's just one in Chelsea. I think it's at the Chelsea Harbour Hotel, which is a great place. So we're excited about that.
Amazing. Amanda's got a question. She says, well, it's more of a comment actually. I work in the addiction field. I love the work I do. I've never been helped by traditional therapy, but some things have worked, like somatic and brain rewiring. I think RTT would be amazing to add to my private coaching work. What do you think, Marissa?
Well, I've never met an addict yet, and I've worked with hundreds of thousands about whoever felt they're enough. Ever. You see, when you're not enough, you have this emptiness inside that you try to fill with alcohol or drugs or food or sex or shopping. So addicts come, and addicts are often very suggestible people, which is why so many artists are addicts. But addicts really do so well with art. In fact, not in this book, in my other book, in this book, Tell Yourself a Better Lie, I tell the story of an addict called Ryan. And somebody wrote, says, I read that story, so I cried from beginning to end, and I've never had a drink since. Because when you talked about Ryan, you were talking about me. And there are stories in here about addicts too. But addicts never feel good enough or worthy enough. They need more. And if you go into rehab, you'll see the cupboards are full of candy bars and chocolate, because as they take away the drinking, they try to give you other things. But if you fix the core of addiction, which is I'm not enough, they won't replace it with anything else, and you'll change their entire life, and yours too, because you'll be the go-to person for fixing addictions, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing to do.
Rosie, Robert, Nina, Lele all booked their calls. Well done. Amazing. Jessica's asked, how long does the course run? I think we mentioned that earlier. So it's 21 months in total, and it's divided into 3 phases. So the first phase is doing the RTT training, which generally takes around 6 to 9 months. And as Marissa mentioned earlier, that means that you can go out and actually start seeing clients as an RTT practitioner as soon as you've done that phase. And then the second phase is the coaching certification. That takes around 4 to 5 months to complete. And then you've got your practitioner upgrade and clinical hypnotherapy as well. And that's a further 7 months. So around 21 months in total. Someone else has asked as well, how many hours a week do you kind of have to dedicate this? But you can do it at your own pace, Marissa, can't you?
Yeah, how many hours a week did you spend?
I did about 10 hours a week, and I did it in a year. But that was just purely the RTT training.
Yeah, about 10 hours a week is about right.
Okay. Can RTT help to overcome grief? Someone's asking.
Oh, yeah, we have a wonderful girl on our course whose husband and both her sons died, and Diana. And I did a session with her on grief. And of course, grief has 5 stages, but you can actually speed them up. So you can't recover from grief per se, but you can stop sinking in grief. You can use it. So we have a lot of therapists who work, especially in grief, who've gone through grief of their own, and it really does help. Someone said here, doesn't reinforcing I'm the best seem rather grandiose? Well, you're not saying I'm the best, you're saying I'm the best at, this is my gift. Muhammad Ali said, when I said I was the greatest, factually it was incorrect, but I said it, I am the greatest. And in everyone's eyes, I became it. It wasn't factually true. And I love that concept, say I'm the best. Boxers walk into the ring to Tina Turner singing Simply the Best. And politicians walk into the arena to a song, I'm the best. Because it's reassuring, it's competent. You're not saying I'm the best, and you're saying I'm the best at, I was given this gift. Adele would say, well, I was given the gift of singing to sing. I wasn't here to be a nail technician. I'm sure Ed Sheeran said I wasn't here to be a plumber. I was given the gift of writing and performing. That's my gift. I'm sure he doesn't have a great gardener. I'm a feng shui expert. I'm a cordon bleu chef. He just says, this is my gift. So it's okay to notice your gift, perfect your gift, and be the best at it, because we like the best doctor, the best teacher, the best chef. They make us feel good. And it's not grandiose, it's reassuring, and it's very confident.
Erica, April, just giving you a shout out because you've booked your call. Jenna, you've booked your call. Oh, April, no, you're asking how do you book a call? So if one of the team can just put the link into the chat or maybe put the QR code on screen, that would be great. Jessica's asking, can we pre-order your new book? And you can, Marissa, can't you?
Yes,
It's
you can.
available
Could you
now.
put the link up? Can you put
So
the
if you
link
could,
up?
yeah, if you
Pre-order
could
it.
pop the link, the pre-order link into the chat, that would be great. I'm just being told from behind the scenes that the booking slots are now getting really low. So if you do want to book your call, now is the time. Like I say, don't delay, don't put it off. Speak to the team. They will answer all of the questions that you have. They'll also take you through things like payment plans. And yes, so any burning questions that you've got, they are such a wonderful team and they're just genuinely interested in you. So don't feel worried about that it's a hard sell because it's absolutely not. I've been there, I've done it, and they're just amazing team.
Jenna just said, I find it so icky to say I'm the best. Gemma, it's not icky, it's unfamiliar. If you say it enough, it'll be familiar. You know, the brain likes what is familiar. And it's your job to make good stuff familiar, self-belief, self-worth, self-confidence. You've got to make it familiar. And in making it familiar, you make low self-worth unfamiliar. So it's not icky. You said you can say it about your friends. So be your own cheerleader. Say it about you. And in fact, we have something on the course where you install a cheerleader. We do it with children and we do it in schools. Because a cheerleader says, yeah, you go, you, jumps up and down, does the backflips, waves the pom-poms. So when you can't say it, I'm going to tell you in this book, there's a whole section called how to install a cheerleader in your brain, how to download it so it cheers for you, believes in you. And of course, a cheerleader on your worst day still cheers you on. So if you can't say it, buy this book and it will show you in detail how to install a cheerleader into your head that can only say, go Jenna, yay Jenna, you can do this. This has got your name all over it. And you know what will happen? It'll be familiar. The fact that it's a funny little cartoon voice makes it easier to let in. Eventually, it will become your own voice. We can all increase the cheerleader, decrease the critic, and only have one voice that says, I've got this. I can do this. This has got my name all over it.
I think learning that was huge for me as a mum as well, Marissa, because I brought my son up to learn to, dialogue with his mind and build that little inner cheerleader because he was really struggling. He's neurodivergent and he was really struggling a while back with OCD. And he said, it's just that my brain tells me I have to do something and I have to do it. Otherwise, I won't be safe. And so I taught him, I said, imagine that you've got, that your brain is actually working with you and you tell it what to do because it shouldn't be telling you what to do. You should be telling it what to do. And he went, what? Like Alexa, and we tell Alexa what to do. And I said, exactly that. And so he built his little inner cheerleader based on Alexa. So any time that it would push him to do a little OCD tick moment, he would go, no, Alexa, stop. I don't want to do that. Alexa, I'm going to go over here now and do this activity. And this was a good few years ago, and he still uses it now. Every now and again, he'll say to me, oh, I've had a terrible day. No, I haven't had a terrible day today. Alexa, put on a better soundtrack. And, it's just great? Amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah, one of my clients said her daughter said to her, Mama, you need to use better language because she was saying, oh, this is driving me crazy. Mama, you need to use better language, dialogue with yourself better because your brain should be your best ally, your best friend, your best PA. You shouldn't be fighting it. You should be thanking it for making your life amazing. And when you get it on side, it will make your life amazing. I was at a football match at the weekend. I won't say which team. And they weren't doing very well. And the only thing, in the interval, the coach is going to scream at them. I said, that doesn't work. You need to play videos of the best shots and other people's shots and go, you can do this, because screaming at someone doesn't motivate them, but playing in the interval their best ever bits does motivate them. And that's really like having a cheerleader, rather not a critic.
Marissa, what can RTT help with? What problems can RTT help with?
Oh gosh, it's easy to say what it can't. Everything: confidence, self-esteem, self-love, self-worth, relationships, health blocks, money blocks, wealth blocks, success blocks, anything that blocks you. It can work with every kind of physical issue: headaches, migraines, irritable bowel. It can help with conception, infertility, birth. It's better to know what it can't work with, which is it helps with finding love, maintaining love, the things that really matter: having a loving relationship, having a great career, creating wealth, living in prosperity, being free of illnesses. But what we don't work with are narcissists, We don't work with people who are psychotic. We don't work with severe psychosis, because someone in that state, a schizophrenia, for instance, a deep mental illness. But we do work with depression and bipolar. So the things we don't do are narcissist, psychosis, and schizophrenia. So there's 3 things we don't do. Everything else we do. We do a lot with wealth blocks, money blocks, love blocks, you name it. A lot with psychosomatic headaches. Doctors will tell you that up to 80% of people turning up at the doctors have real headaches, real gut pains, real skin conditions, but they're not caused by diseased organs. They're caused by diseased thinking. Isn't that great? You've got to give antibiotics to a diseased organ. You can replace a diseased thought like that. So we help with everything: hair loss, impotence, failure to have orgasms, insomnia, that's a huge one, nail biting, skin picking, hair pulling. We pretty much work with everything. There's an exhaustive list. And then we work with young children, unhappy teenagers, kids who are getting bullied, kids who are the bully. We work with everything, and we do a fantastic job too.
I know someone had asked about kind of when you first started out, how did you start your client sessions? And I know for me, I think in the first sort of 3 to 4 months where I was just building my confidence as a therapist, I worked with lots of people on confidence, self-esteem, anxiety. And then probably after the space of about a year, I was confident enough to go, do you know what? I'm actually going to start working with people with physical health conditions. But you don't have to niche necessarily, do you, Marissa? You can actually, if you've got experience or a background, I would say that almost that's your superpower as a therapist, because you can relate to people, but you don't necessarily have to niche. You can work with people with lots of different issues.
Well, you can work with anything in their niche. You know, a lot of our students say, I was talking about it at the school gates, I was waiting to pick up my, talking to another mother about who's talking about her kid being bullied or couldn't remember or was dyspraxic. And one of my clients was saying she went straight from the school, one of our students, and passed a driving school on her way home, popped in and said, hey, I could help you get a higher pass rate. I could give you recordings for your clients who are nervous about their driving test. Someone else went into a study group and said, I could help all the kids in this study group do better academically. So there's a lot of work out there. You know, I know someone who was talking to their Uber driver and he promptly booked a session with her. So there's a lot of work, but you've got to be able to talk about what you do to anyone. And we show you how to have that conversation, how to narrow it down, how to showcase your skills. And one of our girls went in to have a jab because she was going to Africa. And it was, this is really going to hurt, because it won't hurt. I do RTT. He was so impressed. He said, can I give you a session in my clinic? I've got all these people with a needle phobia. In fact, I did a recording for a hospital in New Zealand with people with needle phobia. So there's a lot of work out there with fears, phobias, addictions, everything you can think of. And there's a lot with depression and anxiety and insomnia, poor digestion, eating disorders, addictions, you name it. You can find work everywhere. It's so needed. And there's a mental health crisis in the world now. People can't find enough therapists to help them. And people are looking for certainty, and we can give it to them.
I can see that we've still got lots of people, hundreds of people still on the call, but we're about to finish up fairly soon. We're going to just power through a few more questions. But if you do want to book your call now. Maybe we can get the QR code up on screen as well so that people can just scan it for our last few minutes. But book that call. Don't hesitate. Jump on, speak to our amazing team. Marissa, tell me a little bit. Obviously, we were just talking about kind of working with different clients and different issues, but you worked with someone very famous, and you mentioned him earlier, actually, Stephen Bartlett. Tell me about the session where you hypnotized Stephen Bartlett.
Well, Stephen was mentioning that he had a real problem with sugar. He didn't want to eat it. It made him feel terrible. He was addicted to it. And you see, this is what conventional therapy wouldn't work. It would say, well, let's minimize the sugar, or just have sugar once a week, or don't feel bad about having a Kit Kat. It's perfectly okay. But I went right back to his childhood, where he was a poor kid. First to admit, he was a poor Black kid in an affluent white society, and all his friends went to school with candy bars and chocolate. He didn't have any, and he shoplifted it. And when he stole it, he thought, oh, I've got what they've got. And now his brain went, I'm equal. So 30 years later, when he tried to deny himself sugar, he went back to feeling not equal. So the sugar said something to his brain. If I've got it, I'm like all the kids. And if I don't have it, I feel less than. So it wasn't the sugar, it's what the sugar meant to his brain. Having it means I'm equal, denying it means I'm less than. So if you have parents who won't allow you to have sugar, then you're going to die. And if there's no sugar, you think, oh, I'm feeling deprived again. So when we were able to reframe that and say, of course, I'm like everyone else, I'm successful, I don't need sugar, it no longer serves the purpose. He's now completely ketone, doesn't miss it at all. And there is a link to that session that you can have a look at on YouTube, just with Marissa Peer and Stephen Bartlett, you can see. And he just done an interview with Joe Dispenza, and no one came up and said, hey, Stephen, on your show, I can fix the sugar addiction, but I fixed it on the spot, and it was amazing. When you say the book's name and the writer, do you mean this book, Your Mind, Your Rules by Marissa Peer? I hope that's the book you're looking for. Someone said, I'm very religious, and religion says you must be humble, but it doesn't say why. You see, religion didn't really say that, but people interpret that to keep you humble. And religion doesn't really say that at all. It says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. It says the meek will inherit the earth, but meek means spiritual people. It doesn't mean meek as we believe it to mean it. Meek means, in the Aramaic Maya, which is the real Bible, it means a spiritual, open person will inherit the earth. But you see, these things are all misinterpreted. Any more questions before we wrap this up?
A couple more questions here, Marissa. Do you have to be fixed to do this? I've got a lot of issues of my own, so how can I possibly be a therapist? Now, I touched on this earlier because I actually think we're all, I love the way that Marissa calls this flawsome, because we're all a work in progress. And actually, I think the struggles that you go through and the issues that you're resolving, even if you're still resolving them, gives you that superpower as a therapist, because it makes you able to empathize with people. You can understand their issue, and you're in a much better place to help them. So, for example, I had a client a little while back, and she came to me because she'd seen my story and she'd saw actually the side that I didn't talk about today, but I had huge issues with memory and concentration because of MS, really struggled. And she saw that I'd kind of mentioned this in my story, and she came to me and she said, you know, I had a brain injury a few years ago. My memory and concentration has been terrible since then. And it's just making me feel terrible about myself, because I used to love reading, and I can barely read a book now because I can't remember, you know, one page to the next. You know, my husband comes home from work and says, what did you do today? And I really have to struggle to recall what I've done. And she said, it's just ruining my life. She said, but I think I can fix this. Having heard your story, I think I can fix this. Will you help me? So I was like, of course, we'll do the sessions. We'll work on this. It's absolutely fine. And we did this session, and some of the stuff that came up in the session was just amazing. But at the end of it, she came back to me after those 21 days and she went, oh my gosh. She went, what kind of witchcraft is this? Because I can suddenly read a book. She said, I sat down and I read 4 chapters of a book today. My husband came home from work. He said, what have you done today? She said, I read 4 chapters of a book. In chapter 1, this happened. In chapter 2, this happened. In chapter 3, this happened. And I finished on chapter 4. I can't wait to read chapter 5. And she said, this is just absolutely incredible. This has changed my life. That was just after 1 session as well. And she was just like, this is absolutely brilliant. And anyway, she went away. I was so happy. I didn't hear from her. And then she actually messaged me. I think this was just before Christmas, actually, because she'd seen me on one of these webinars, and she messaged me on my Instagram and she said, just to let you know, you completely changed my life with that session. And now I'm training to be an RTT therapist as well. I've just launched my practice. And I was like, yes. And it's that ripple effect of, you know, healed people heal people. You know, that's what we say a lot here, because it's absolutely true. RTT helps you, and then you realize just how powerful it is, and you want to help other people. Marissa, have you got any kind of favorite client stories you might like to share with people?
You know, some time ago, probably one of the most famous actors in the world called me and said, hey, I'm just about to, I've been given this part, I'm playing an icon, and I'm so anxious that I can't do it justice. Could you come and see me? Anyway, he sent his car to pick me up. I went to this mansion, and he was standing in the drive, and he said, I'm waiting because I'm so honored you've come. I thought, wow, you're honored. I'm so honored you've asked me to come. And then we sat down, and he began to tell me, like, who am I to play this icon? And I was thinking, well, who am I to help you? And we both had imposter syndrome. I'm thinking, who am I to help someone as iconic as you? And he was thinking, who am I to play this icon? And I loved the fact that we both had imposter syndrome, but we both carried on. I thought, I feel like an imposter, I'm going to do it. And he did too. He played the icon to great accolade, and I helped him. And so I love that, because I didn't think, oh, I'm great. And he didn't think I'm great. We both were flawsome. I was flawed, he was flawed, but we did it anyway. I didn't go, yeah, I should be in this mansion in Beverly Hills. I deserve to be here with a person of his caliber. I had some doubts. And he didn't think, well, I'm the best actor in the world. Of course I can play this icon. We both had doubts, but we did it anyway. And that's the thing. You're a flawed person having flawed relationships with flawed people. It's called being flawsome. Being flawed is very forgiving. Trying to be perfect is not. In fact, I can tell you without blinking, without hesitation, that my unhappiest clients are the ones who try to be perfect, because there is no finishing line called perfection. And people who try to be perfect are very lonely and very dissatisfied. But being flawsome is a lovely thing. So you can be a flawsome therapist. People don't go, hey, are you perfect? Have you got a perfect body? Are your kids perfect? Is your house perfect? In fact, they like it when you're not perfect. They go, oh, I feel glad that someone like you has some issues with your kids occasionally. It's nice, because we're all flawed people doing our best. And the nicest thing is to go, hey, I'm flawed, but I'm living my best life. I don't think I'm perfect. And my clients don't expect that from me. But they do like the fact that I can help them be as flawsome as I am, rather than saying, let's all be perfect, because there's no such thing. Someone said, you know, what if I don't believe these words? It doesn't matter. When you say I'm as big as a house, as fat as a pig, I could eat a horse, is that true? Of course it's not true. We all say things we don't believe every day. I'm falling apart. This job is killing me. This commute is killing me. My kid is making me go mental. Well, these things aren't true, but we say them. So why not say, I'm smart? Even if you don't believe it. It's like someone asked about this other book, Tell Yourself a Better Lie, because I'm a great believer in what I call lie, cheat, and steal. Lie to your brain, cheat, fear, steal back the amazing confidence you were born with. We're all born with a belief that we're worth it. So lie to your brain, cheat, fear, steal back, I'm worth it. You don't have to believe it. You have to say it, state it, affirm it, until you will start to believe it very, very. Because when you say, this job is killing me, you don't really believe it, but you say it. Sadly, if you say it enough, it can actually come true. You can get an ulcer or even a heart attack. So we got to say it, state it, affirm it, even if we don't believe it. And eventually the mind will let it in purely by repetition.
No, absolutely, Marissa. And somebody had asked a question about kind of, can you use this on yourself? And I do. Me and Marissa were actually talking about this before we came on live, because I'd had an issue with my eye a few months back. And as soon as it happened, I was like, right, okay, I need to take action. And then I just did cell command therapy with my body. My body is a healing making machine. My eye is fine. It's perfect. My vision is perfect. And I recovered really, really quickly. So you can use these tools and techniques on yourself. And someone had mentioned driving anxiety. And this was something that had popped up quite randomly with me recently. And exactly that, what Marissa was saying, you know, every time I got in the car, I was like, oh no, I've got to drive. Stop doing that. I love to drive. Driving is really relaxing. I'm going to put on my music. I'm in my little bubble. This feels wonderful. You know, I'm a great driver. I'm a safe driver. And it's all about those words that you're speaking to yourself. So we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes, because I'm mindful that we've gone on for quite some time.
Can you just answer this question quickly, Elise? Someone said, what's happened to the MS? So could you tell the audience what's happened to the MS?
Sure. So I had a meeting with my neurologist towards the tail end of last year, it was. And I sat there and he said to me, asked me all the usual questions. And then he said, not to be rude, but can I just ask you, I'm going to turn my screen around. And he turned his computer screen around and he went, this is the results from your MRI a couple of years ago. Lesion 1, 2, 3, 4 on your brain, 5, 6, 7 on your cervical cord. He said, how are you so well? And I said, because I chose to be well. And he was like, wow, okay, what is it that you do and what have you done? And I told him about my journey with RTT. And he actually said, this is fantastic, because we in the rehab unit, that's where I was, in the rehab unit, we're always looking for, you know, things to help people, because we just throw drugs at people, but actually we see so many people that come through the door and they've used alternative therapies. And I don't like to call RTT an alternative therapy, because it's not. It's basically rewiring, recoding your mind. It's neuro-linguistic programming with CBT, with hypnosis, and it's just this superpower therapy. But he said, you've got to come in and do a talk to some of our people, because a lot of the time, the people that come in here, they've just accepted that this is the worst case scenario. Nothing's ever going to get better. and they don't have that. They're not even in that
Have you
space
done
of
that,
being able to
Elise?
feel. Yeah, I'm about to do that actually.
Oh,
I'm quite
good.
nervous about doing it, but excited to
You're
do it.
excited. I had that when
Really
I was going
excited.
through, when I was in a scanner, they were going, how can you just lie here and be so chilled? And I said, well, I
Mm,
tell my brain I'm lying at home in my bed having a great time. And
exactly
I was
that.
asked to go in and show all the nurses, because when I got run over, they couldn't believe. They said, you can't walk for 6 months. I was walking in 6 weeks. They were so shocked. And I taught all the nurses what I did. Even my bone doctor said, he said, I knew you'd do it because my wife said that you're a famous hypnotist. And he was very impressed. And whenever I'm anywhere, I'm always teaching nurses. I was teaching the nurses how to get small children to cope with being in the scanner by having them imagine they were floating on a cloud. So it's great that people are asking more and more. You know, I had a client last month who said I was in hospital, and the doctor said, have you heard of Marissa Pearce? She said, no. He said, go and find out. I can't help you. This is all in your head, but she can. And I love the fact that doctors are sending so many people our way because they recognize these are disease thoughts. I have to go because it's 9 o'clock here in Dubai. I only got back from London overnight, a little bit of jet lag, not much.
No, thank you so much,
But
Marissa. We're going to
I'm going
wrap
to
up
let
in.
you wrap up. But if you don't
Sure.
mind, I do have to leave the call because I've got to call someone. This is the best job in the world. We'd love you to be one of us. So come and train with us, book your call. And you might be like me saying, I'll never retire. When you do what you love and you love what you do, you never feel like you work a day in your life. You know, I write books, I speak at events, I train therapists, I see clients. I still think I've got the best job in the whole world, and I don't ever plan to retire. And not many people can say that. I'm going to have a job which gives you connection, significance, meaning, purpose, impact, where you grow, contribute, make a difference every single day. But our job gives us those 9 things: connection, significance, growth, contribution, make a difference, impact, meaning, and purpose. It's amazing. And I'd love you to do it. It'll be the best thing you ever did. So book a call, keep in touch with me. Please buy my book, this one, even this one. They're both brilliant. And thank you so much. I love you. Love you. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Lots of love. Over to Elise.
Thank you so much, Marissa. And I'm sure, thank you for such a beautiful experience today. And thank you for all sticking with us as well. I know we've run on, which we always do if you come onto these webinars, but we hope we've answered all of your questions. So this is your last chance now to book that call. So if we can pop the QR code up on the screen. Last chance to book it. The call is completely free and it's your opportunity to ask all the burning questions that you might have and for you to decide whether this is a good fit for you, whether you're a good fit for RTT. It's no pressure, like I said before, it's completely free. So you've nothing to lose and everything to gain. As I mentioned earlier, imagine yourself now a year down the line, sitting where and doing the work that me and Marissa are doing, and just living our incredibly best lives, just helping people to get well and heal and move forward in their lives as well. So that could be you. So I am going to bid you farewell. Thank you so much to everybody for sticking with us tonight. And thank you for all the lovely comments in the chat as well. I know there's still a lot of questions there, but what I'm going to do is save the chat because I know Marissa always likes to go through them and read them as well. So I'm going to save all your comments. And if today's not opened up anything for you, if this has resonated with you, trust me, being an RTT therapist is the best decision I ever made. It completely transformed my life personally, professionally, and you won't regret it. So I'm so glad you've been here today. I hope you've enjoyed it. And until next time, thank you so much. Take care, everyone, and see you again very, very soon. Bye.